Hello. We are now reaching the end of our podcast series on EV battery life cycles. So far, we have seen that batteries have a first and second, and during each phase, they generate value. We are now going to talk about the third stage of their life cycle, a time where batteries can once again serve a purpose. Let's hear more from today's special guest.
Hello, I'm Jean-Denis. I oversee the recycling and circular economy within Renault Group.
Quick word of warning. Bear in mind that this is the third and final phase in a battery's life. But don't let that get you down. Let's listen to Jean-Denis.
The end of life, so to speak, is when a battery can no longer fulfill its primary purpose, when it can no longer store electrical energy. It then enters a recycling phase.
See, I told you, recycling. In fact, there are EU regulations for recycling. Current regulations state that at least 50% of a battery's weight must be recycled. But it is set to go further, and soon.
The draft battery regulation sets ambitious recycling thresholds for certain essential elements, such as the active materials used in batteries. 90% of cobalt, nickel, and copper will have to be recycled by 2025. This threshold could even be lifted to 95% in 2030. Lithium will also be subject to a minimum recycling rate of 30% in 2025 and 70% in 2030.
Oh wow, there's a lot to do, but nothing to worry about. At Renault Group, we are already getting prepped. In fact, we're already good to go.
We have announced a partnership with Veolia and Solvay to implement the closed-loop recycling of battery active materials. Because, as a producer of electric vehicles and co-manufacturer of EV batteries with our industrial partners, there is a real opportunity and vested interest for us to recycle these strategic materials and incorporate them in the production of our new batteries.
And that brings us full circle. Components are taken from used batteries and reincorporated into brand new batteries. It's the circle of life. To quote a rather wise monkey from that famous cartoon about a lion cub. But I digress. So it's all very clever and greatly beneficial.
This alternative source of EV battery materials does not only have a minimal environmental footprint, but it will also reduce our exposure to the fluctuating prices and availability of these critical raw materials. Quite simply because an increasing percentage of materials used in our battery production will come from our own recycling loop. Their price will be predictable and increasingly competitive compared to virgin raw materials.
That's not all that will become competitive. End-of-life battery recycling too.
Recycling batteries is currently quite costly. Logistics represent 2/3 of that cost. The remaining third comes from actual recycling, including dismantling, grinding, chemical extraction, etc. Overall, we are planning to decrease this cost threefold by 2030. Wow. For us, it is a great responsibility, a great challenge, and yet also a great opportunity.
Well then, it really is a virtuous circle being created as we speak within Renault Group. Jean-Denis, thank you for shedding some light and for being our final guest for our podcast series. I hope you all now feel more familiar with the ins and outs of EV batteries. Until next time, goodbye.